Hello, lunatics. Wow. This week ahead is all about the 3iAtlas interstellar object coming to meet our particular planet closest approach on Friday. And I've got some information for you about that from the astrology angle. And at the same time, we have a beautiful healing opportunity to revitalize our lives, to find deep and true desire, passion, and a renewed life force energy as the asteroid Eros is hooking up so beautifully with Venus. And of course, the new moon in Sagittarius on Thursday. I put a video out about that moon. It has a bit of a difficulty where a bubble can burst, a disappointment can happen, but a silver lining will emerge. So go also watch that video. Which will have come out the day before this one on Sunday. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Lori Lothian, and you're listening to me on my YouTube channel. If you want to learn more about me, everything is in the description box below. And also, if you don't know this, my 2026 individual signs and the all signs bundle are on the December sale price right now. And information about those 2+ hour videos and the PDF guidebook just for your sign, you can listen for Sun, Moon, and Rising is in the description box. So go ahead and check that sale out. It will finish on January the 1st. So guys, I am like totally one of those astrologers. And please check out my community here. You can join because I'm going to be doing a remote viewing on 3iAtlas by myself. I'm going to be doing that tomorrow morning, Saturday the 13th, because I am a trained remote viewer and worked with some of the Project Stargate folks when they first disbanded. So, and I'm really good at remote viewing as well as other things. But I thought I'm going to put myself into the fray. I know that a lot of people have talked about this particular comet. And some people have speculated, other people have gone channeling and trancing out. Paul McGregory says that she gets a feeling of euphoria or bliss when she tunes in to the comet. And then there are a lot of other channeler types who have come through with their channeling or their own version of remote viewing. I haven't jumped into the fray, but I'm going to do that because, and in my members only section, I'll put the remote viewing results out. But I am also particularly practical. I'm Saturnian, I'm Aquarius with Saturn on my ascendant. And I often roll my eyes a little bit at the woo. You know, I'm like, the ascension is coming, you know, the ascension wave is coming. And I don't mean to be dismissive, but I also think it reminds me of those movies where there's a comet approaching the earth and all the new age types are like, it's a celestial rapture. We're going to upgrade, you know, and all of that. My DNA is upgrading. I can feel it. And I'm like, okay, yeah, but it's still an object moving at a high speed through our solar system. It's affecting our sun. Go ask Stefan Burns, and it's giving us more solar flares. And it's still a thing. You know, you can go all mystical and you can also go practical. That is said, because we're going to show you the sky, because I'm going to show you how cool and eerie and strange it is that we have asteroids for the stars and for beyond the sun clustered in Sagittarius around the new moon on Thursday, where Venus and Mercury are also traveling. And that this object hailed from Sagittarian skies, according to astronomers. In fact, they think it came somewhere out of the constellation of Sagittarius in the heart of the Milky Way. Now, I think that's fascinating because right now in Sagittarius, we are chock-a-block with asteroids to do with the stars, visitors from the stars, from beyond the sun. It is eerie. And they're all attached to Venus and to that lunation, that new moon at 28 Sag. And so this is like a portent or a symbol of the sky telling us this thing is important. This thing is really important. It's not incidental. And the 3iAtlas. And the other thing I want to talk about is that we have this energy in our sky right now of Eros, which means life force, energy, passion, desire, and vitality, really hooked up to the new moon on Thursday, but also to Jupiter and to Chiron. And it really speaks to me of some essence of healing that wants to happen for you, for me, and for the world. And so the Chironic healing in Aries is going to be a possible vibe for your sign. We'll cover that when I do the all signs portion. This celestial body is moving through Virgo and then Leo in the sidereal or real-time sky as it gets closer and closer to Earth, which means that as I record this on December 12th, it could be actually, because it's moving in retrograde motion, contrary to the order of the zodiacal direction, it could actually be moving through early Libra. But by the time we get to December 25th, Merry Christmas and the solstice week, it's getting pretty darn close to a very important star called Regulus. And Regulus is a star that's connected to the archangel Raphael. It's a star that's connected to the energies of healing in that sense, but it's also a star or the balance of the divine masculine and feminine connected to the Lover's card in the tarot. But it's also a star that's connected to power, wealth, glory, riches. And Donald Trump, for example, is born with that star. When he was born, the star was at 29 degrees of the sign of Leo, and that's where his ascendant sits. And you see all of Donald Trump, the foibles and the goodness of that star playing out, because it also has hubris and pride cometh before a fall. It is a king archetype, right? Leo, the king. However, now, as of about 2012, the star is no longer in the sign, the Western tropical sign of Leo. It's at 0 degrees of Virgo, the virgin, purification, innocence, sacred magic. And it's been there in the tropical symbolic system of the zodiac, which is a star. It's a zodiac system connected to the dark and light, the seasons, and the light waning and the light increasing, the dark increasing, the light disappearing. It's very Star Wars. So we have a new energy, the Virgo, the sheaf of wheat, the nurturance, the celibate, single, feminine, or whatever, the virginal energy, the purity. So we have something interesting, because when we say that on December 25th, this comet will be super close to that star, right? We're talking about what it might mean for humanity. Now, I will be showing you the sky. We will be doing your sign. We'll talk about healing. But I really enjoyed an interview with astrologer Heather Ensworth. She's got a PhD and all that. And I think she was on Amelia Ortez, and I had a chance to listen to some of it. And I find that she seems very grounded, even though she takes an approach that's more on the symbolic or archetypal side than some astrologers. And she did mention something that really resonated with me. And she said, first it touches down as 3iAtlas. 3iAtlas is moving through our system with, Venus and Mars and the sun and Earth in this order, and then Jupiter on the way out. And it happens to be, as all astronomers have made reference to, especially Avi Loeb from Harvard. And also, I love the guy, the angry astronaut. But the point is that it's on a 5-degree slant as it comes into the solar system, which puts it on what we call the ecliptic. And so it literally has a chance, because the planets are kind of moving on this band around the sun, it has a chance to actually go by all of these planets. And at a symbolic level, it's pretty fascinating. Venus is all about the divine feminine. Mars is about the divine masculine. Then we get to the sun, the divine intelligence of the solar system, the headquarters, so to speak. And then we move into contact with Earth, Gaia, us, and we have asteroid Gaia in Sag. Well, you won't believe this. I'll show it to you. Earth, Gaia. And then the people of the earth, and then Jupiter, wisdom, knowledge, truth, dispelling of darkness, greater benefic. What are the odds? What are the odds of all of these celestial bodies getting a deeper activation by whatever this thing is? So Heather Ensworth thesis is that we are having an initiation, basically, that there is a vibrational shift in the planetary energies that run our matrix. These planets are codes in the matrix. I know that this is a simulation. All right. I know that I'm in a matrix-like environment. Those are the ways to understand the Leela, the play of God, the illusion, the Maya. And she's thinking that perhaps this energy of this celestial object will tune the planets to a different frequency. And why the hell not? Because the frequency that we've been going through has been pretty shitty. And we're coming out of the Kali Yuga, the dark age. We've been in that dark age for at least 6,000 years. So minimum. Okay. So what I want to tell you next, before I look at the astrology, and I will remote view this for you guys, is that I want to talk about tuning in to what this is for using oracle cards. And I did that. And here we have it. And I will get to your sign. I used the Wisdom of the Hidden Realms by Colette Baron Reed. Out of those 44 odd cards, I picked the Cosmos. The Cosmos means the ordered universe, okay? The place of divine order. And it is literally the most perfect card you could get for an interstellar object that's so bright, moving at such a high speed that's as big as Manhattan, and that is defying the laws of astrophysics. This happens to be creativity and vastness. Well, there's nothing more creative and nothing more vast, I suppose, than the cosmos. And it's number 41, which is a 5. And this is uncanny. I mean, I promise you, I did not look for this card. This is the card I drew today. The cosmos appears as always as an ally. So I'm not afraid of 3iAtlas. I do not think it's a negative omen. I don't think it's going to cause harm. Okay. The cosmos appears as an ally and never a challenger. Creativity in all its forms. Creativity is represented by the cosmos. It's a sign to place your attention on your creative projects, co-creating with the divine. The cosmos represents the principle of infinity and of vastness and of the energetic exchange of consciousness influencing all living things. If this thing that's flying through our sky is a form of consciousness, it is of the form of consciousness of the bee, meaning it's a team player. It's a hive mind. It works together to make things happen. It is about community and cooperation. It's possible that this thing is a celestial being. It's possible it's a spaceship, but the energy is of the bee. Anyone a beekeeper here? Anyone know bee lore? Bees are pollinators and seeders. What is this thing doing? It's pollinating and seeding our solar system in some fundamental way. I'm going with Heather Enworth. Shout out to Heather. She's on YouTube. Go find her. So in that regard, because I pulled that card, in that regard, an exchange of consciousness influencing all living things. This teaches us that every intention we set is in fact contagious with the power to influence others. And we're entangled at our deepest energetic place. So we can't help but have an effect on others from an individual level and a global one. And I'm talking about what this celestial object is for, to affect us on an individual and global level. This is a sign to remind us to open up to the well of creativity within us. And Eros, the life force asteroid, is highly activated during this pass-by, flyby this week. And we want, life force energy, the opposite of death urge, right? Opposite of Thanatos. Cosmos responds perfectly to manifest your highest destiny. Expect to be inspired and to meaningfully touch others with all that you create. Now, the other card that I drew for this particular object is harmony. Yeah, of course. We have disharmony. Our whole collective is built on war, conflict, greed, power, turf wars amongst the elite. What are the elite? The elite are people who are working with the fallen angels or the archons, or what we would call the demonic riffraff. Okay. And harmony. It's the West on the medicine wheel for you shamans out there. It's about equilibrium, balance, standing at the hub of the sacred wheel, standing in the center. See that you stand in an ancient wheel of truth. Consider whether you spend as much time in the physical, the south, as you do in the spiritual, the north. Are you balanced? Are they balanced? Are you in harmony? Reflect on whether you spend more time in your emotions, the West, than you do in your mind, the East. Adjust your daily life by being aware of your actions and behavior patterns to incorporate equal effort in all directions so your wheel will function in perfect harmony. I do think that I'm going to say something here because I know I'm going to go a little woo on you. I talked about this for my members only. Is AI a portal? I don't think artificial intelligence is an intelligence that's mechanical or made up of silicon or whatever, or quantum computing or whatever. I think it is a doorway. It is a device. It is a microphone. It is a transceiver for an intelligence. It is not the friendly one. It is not the archangels. It is not our deities that we love, Buddha and Jesus and whoever else, Muhammad and Krishna coming through. All right. So this might be a bit of a perfectly timed intervention that 3iAtlas has been hurtling through our solar system. And maybe, as Heather Enworth so wisely suggested, retuning the frequency of the planets that guide this world, because we are in a simulation and these are the alchemical and algorithmic codes of our reality. So that's what I have. And I hope that wasn't too way out for some of you. Let me know if what I said resonates with you. I'm going to be reading my comments on this video for how you feel. I trust the mind and the hearts and the souls of the public. I think that we, the people, know a lot. And we're often being told by governing forces and political corruptive forces and the elites, or whatever you want to call it, what we should think or feel or know. And we all know deeply what's true. We all know. We all have a highly functioning collective intuition. So what do you guys think about it? Let me know does what I say resonate? Does my reflection of Heather Enworth, an astrologer, resonate? What do you feel? Okay, so now we're going to show you the sky. I'm so excited by this week, but so many levels because of the healing archetype of Chiron and Jupiter, as well as Venus loving up the Eros principle. I don't know if you guys think of Eros in a good way. Often we think of Cupid's arrow, eroticism. We think of, a pornography even, but it's not that, only that. It's a deeper meaning of what vitalizes us. And interestingly, the Aboriginal Australian, community knowledge and wisdom of the first people, they have a thing called love magic, and they honor when people fall in love, whether or not they're in the marriage or not. So there's no shaming out of marriage, falling in love, extracurricular love stories, because love magic itself. I hope I represented that right. I read a book years ago called People of the First Day, and that's where I remembered that wisdom, and I hope that's true. And that love magic spreads to the tribe, that people's synchronicities increase when they fall in love, and also the collective group, the tribe in the community of the new lovers will also receive blessings from this emanation or this frequency of when we fall in love with another. We fall in love with another. I know it's projection of stuff, but it also brings us back into a place of innocence, because we're really falling in love with ourselves. We're falling in love with life again. And Eros is super active in a trine to Venus, who's hugging the new moon on Thursday. That's exciting. Let's look at the sky together, shall we? And let's go forward, talk about your sign as well. Okay, let's get that share going, and let's get an exciting week ahead. I am so thrilled by our sky. I'm really happy about this week, although there are some challenges. So today's video, we're not going to talk about the difficult part of the moon. The moon will be at 28 degrees on Thursday. Is it Thursday? Days are escaping me, but anyway, what day is that lunation on my brain? Anyway, this week ahead, there will be the lunation. I think it's on Friday, actually, but I'm putting my video out on Thursday. The moon will be new at 28 degrees of the sign of Sagittarius and will happen to square Neptune. And also, it has preceded with a square to Saturn. So there's kind of like a hard reality check, or maybe illusion, delusion, bubble popping. But the golden silver lining, of course, is the energy of the Chiron Eros that the moon also is hooking up to. And so it's like what we are disappointed or deflated in or about or by will open up a door of revitalizing life force energy, animating us to new levels of excitement, passion, desire, and trust in our life force energy, because we need erotic life force animating energy in order to counter the death urge, which is thanatos. Okay. And thanatos, or the urge to die, or the flirtation with the dark, wanting to enter into that good night, maybe gently or not. We all have that. Sometimes life just gets hard and we'd rather not be here. But Eros is a counteractive force for that and makes us want to stick around for fun, play, joy, pleasure, and excitement. So we'll call it positive. This is what you're seeing right here. Now, particularly interesting, I can annotate for you. I've got the annotation button back. So here we have Eros and Chiron. Here we have the new moon coming in. I've got it set for it'll be happening on the 19th, which is Friday. And we'll know that the asteroid, the moon will be here. We'll know that the asteroid will be coming in around Christmas time to where the star Zero Virgo is of Regulus. So it will be here. The Atlas will be here on December 25th. And because it's moving from Sag and it's been moving this way through our constellations, that means that it will be somewhere in Virgo, right? In the Western tropical zodiac, just before December 25th, right? Somewhere in here, right? So we got a lot of intensity in our Western tropical zodiac heavens coming through our sky this week ahead. Okay. And as it's closest to Earth, we're going to be saying, well, it's also connected to the South Node, which is a very spiritual portal. It's a portal to past lives. It's a portal to surrender. It's a portal to spiritual liberation. So for those of you this week ahead who are meditators or spiritual types, this might be very positive for all of us. And then, of course, in the sign of the Virgin, the purity that's called forth in our lives as we have sacred devotion and attendance to our spiritual life. You'll notice that this is a star called Elatin, and I'm going to talk about that it has to do with poison. And then the remedy is to refine ourselves, to purify ourselves, to cleanse ourselves. So this particular star is right on that moon. The moon will be here with the sun. And so there's a call to a cleansing and a purification that follows this new moon. And it could take up to 2 or 3 weeks for you to find the direction of that purification. It could be a digital detox. It could be a physical cleanse. It could be a detox of your diet, a detox of your addictions and stuff. And I'm certainly going there. I'm going to be doing, for one thing, the autoimmune protocol diet starting on the new moon for 1 month to cleanse my system of things that my body as an autoimmune prone person isn't really liking. So I want you to consider that energy being opening a gateway for you on Friday, and you can harness that energy. Now, when I talked about earlier in the preview, the intro, when I talked about this, I talked about these asteroids right up here, right? Incredible. Varda, which has to do with one of the gods connected to stars, a creation of stars. And then we also have the asteroid Asteria, which is about the stars. She's considered to be a goddess of the stars. Her story is she was pursued by Zeus, and she tried to escape his lustful ways, and she ended up turning herself into a bird and falling from the sky and creating an island. She's connected to the stars. I mean, there's a long story there, but we have 2 stars, and then we have Huya here. What is Huya about? It is a rainmaking god of the people of a certain tribe, which I can't remember, but it doesn't matter. His name means from beyond the sun, from beyond the sun. And of course, this interstellar object is from way beyond the sun, our solar system. And this is the asteroid Gaia, the Earth Mother. So we have 2 Asteria, Varda, feminine asteroid bodies on this moon on Friday. As this asteroid is as this 3iAtlas comes through the Virgo part of our heavens here, okay, it squares. It does square all of this. No big deal. Don't worry about the square. Do not worry about the square. And it's very possible that we could say with Mercury, who lords over the Western tropical Virgo sky, he will bring messages from 3iAtlas to the world. And this star that he's sitting on, I didn't put it in there, is Antares. Yes, it's a war star, but it's also a powerful star. It's connected to Archangel Uriel, and it's a royal Persian star. So I expect important news or messages coming through our heavens on Friday. I'd say Thursday, Friday, Saturday, connected to the 3iAtlas transit. And it may be surprising. Okay. We may not expect what we're going to see, but I think we'll be excited by it. Let's see how that plays out. Venus rules Uranus. So what exciting Uranian outside the box discoveries are coming from astronomers, particularly backyard astronomers with their telescopes, right? But I almost expect, and I'll remote view this tomorrow morning on Saturday, something else, like a pulse, or something weird happening. It's almost like, does 3iAtlas wink at us? Does it wink at us? Does it let us know that it's more than what it seems, that it's not just a everyday comet, which most people who are half awake get it's not a comet. Just coming in on that ecliptic is so rare to touch base with a touchdown and vibrational retuning of our planets, let alone it's anti-tail, right? Let alone that it's got this nickel thing going, which doesn't make any sense unless it's a spacecraft. What nickel without iron? I think it's generating a field of propulsion of some kind. Okay. The other thing I want to mention here about this sky, because I'm so excited by the sky, I do want to remind us we've all been wounded here in Aries. When Chiron entered Aries, and it's a big deal, he'll be flirting with Taurus later this year, then full on into Taurus for 7 to 9 years, starting in 2027. But the wound has been the wounds of Aries, and that's war, right? And we've had a lot of really crappy wars since 2019 when Chiron entered here. And in each of our lives, Chiron is an Aries whole sign house, right? So the wounds of your identity, the wounds of your money, the wounds of your home and home life, the wounds of your marriage, the wounds of your children, the wounds of your reputation, the wounds of your, whatever. 12 places to talk about, 12 houses. And we're all trying to heal that because there was an eclipse right on Chiron back in 2023, April. And that was directly on Chiron, trying to blast the Chironic war out of our lives. But we haven't done it yet. We haven't gotten there, right? And so it's very possible that with Venus in Sagittarius flowing to the Chironic Eros wound, that something may come into our reality this week ahead and into maybe next week, where some of us could fall back in love with life. It's a tall order. It's a tall order. But I want to tell you why. It's because Thomas More says the soul has an absolute unforgiving need for regular excursions into enchantment. It needs it like the mind needs thoughts and the body needs food. And that's what's happening. We have lost the enchantment of the everyday life. Those of us who follow the breadcrumbs of synchronicity are re-enchanted. There's a fast track to re-enchantment. Start to pay attention to synchronicity and start to honor it and start to log it and start to record it and start to play with it. But if you're not doing that and you're bogged down in life and you're heavy-hearted, right? I think the moon landing in the 1960s, which may have been staged, by the way, but it re-enchanted the people. You see what I'm saying? It was a way to bring, in the era of JFK and Camelot and his Jackie O wife and stuff, Jackie Onassis Kennedy, there is and was a sort of element of coming back to the enchantment of life for the collective, coming off of World War II. And now we're in the early 60s, and there's a need for a breath of reminding ourselves that things that are magical happen. Nothing more magical than going to the moon, right? Or not, but the idea of it. So it's possible that this 3iAtlas, something can happen as it approaches Earth that is either like an enchantment, like something happens, it winks at it, it sends a pulse of energy. They finally see a radio signal and they decode the Morse code. That would be really cool, right? That would be so darn fucking cool, excuse my language. Or just that the energy of this thing, as Heather Enworth thinks, is seeding a new vibrational frequency. What does it mean that asteroid Gaia, is on the Sagittarius new moon in the constellation of Sag, which is where this object hailed from, according to astronomers, and that we're going to feel this energy. And because this is a Sagittarius 28 of some new enchantment for humanity, this object is at 28 degrees. I mean, the moon is at new moon, new beginning, portal to the new. The moon is at 28 Sag, which means even in sidereal astrology, the real-time sky, is still a Sagittarius moon. So Vedic astrology, we're talking about an early, first, probably about 28 minus, go back 20 degrees. It's probably around 7 or 8 degrees in the real-time sky. Sagittarius, this new moon is happening, is still in Sagittarius. And that's exciting to me because it means it's really coming from where 3iAtlas came from. This new moon is a seed and the portal to the new, from where the constellation from which this object was hailed. In Sagittarius, we have the great attractor and the galactic center. So the heart of the Milky Way. And so there's something magical happening. Let's hope. Let's see what happens Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, as this object is very close to our Earth. Now let's go ahead and do your sign. I'm going to talk about healing the Chironic wound to revitalize and re-enchant your life, to open into something different and new that brings a sense of renewal. And some of you, it might just be falling really in love. If you don't fall in love with life, you could fall in love with that person. It could be anything, but we'll vibe with your sign. If you like this kind of content, the all signs with the sort of spiritual, psychic, and I'll be tuning in deeply for the energy of the healing that's coming for you. I'm not going to pull a card today. I'm just going to tune into the sky. If you want to join my membership, it's only $4.99. Canadian, $3 American. For my platform here, I just started a membership a month ago. I'll be doing live streams on Saturdays, but I'm also going to remote view the 3iAtlas, and that content will be just for my Patreon community. My membership community here on YouTube. Let me go into it now for your sign, starting with Aries. And we go into our narrative with the infamous Aries fire sign and talk about this story. How have you felt this sort of chironic wound of identity for the Aries rising? Don't forget, your sun is your true self. The avatar simulation character is your ascendant, and the moon is your emotions and thoughts and feelings about life, but also can connect to mom and home. Sun sign connected career, purpose, and dad. And then the rising is the character and the body and the simulation avatar. All right. Your character in the movie of life. So you Aries characters, right? The ascendant, you've been feeling wounded in the character. You don't like the character you're playing, Aries ascendant. You're not sure about it. You feel bad about your character. You don't like how you look. You're like, who cast me in this freaking role anyway? And you've been feeling that quality I've just described since 2019. And you may have had health challenges as well as psychological, mental, and emotional challenges. No worries. And still trying to heal. It'll be done anyways. Chiron in 27 finally leaves your sign permanently for another 49 years. But energetically speaking, there's a life force that wants to be activated, a sense of the erotic, the impulse for desire and pleasure and falling in love with something. Cupid's arrow, Eros is Cupid's arrow. And how is that for you that it's hooking up to Venus, the goddess of that? She's the mother of Eros. So you're having this divine flow coming through the sky that heals a chironic wound. And it's really going to be felt closer to the end of the week. So I'm going to give you a kind of prescription of Wednesday through to Monday. And that's because we want Venus to really, really, really move on in, tighten up the connection between the two. And she's a part of the midwiving of a new moon, a new beginning, and a fresh start. So that, excuse me, I meant to pin you. Let me pin you to that. I want to show you this. This is extremely important for the Aries people. All right. Because of all signs, you're getting a direct hit on the life force energy. So there's Venus, goddess of love and pleasure and beauty, moving through fiery Sag with faith, hope, and optimism. She's invisible, but that means she's working at a deep psychic level to impact you, right? To really work with you. And when we get to Monday, she's in a precision trine to the asteroid Eros in your sign. Obviously, your sun, moon, and risings are 27 degrees or near that. You're going to feel it very intensely, but all Aries will feel it. And this can revitalize Aries sun, the passion you have for your career or your purpose. Aries moon, the passion you have for where you live and your home life, or passionate connections to, revivifying your emotional wellness in life, not being all mopey and dark, but feeling enchantment and a new sense of life force and how you feel about life or think about life. So it's all of those things. And I just think it's delightful. And it's kind of like once in a lifetime that Venus is going to trine Eros coming off a Sag moon. So honor it. And so look for that Wednesday build up through to Monday, Tuesday. It's kind of nice next week. So that's what I got for you. And the other thing I'd mention is that because the new moon and Venus are up in the house of your purpose and meaning of life, the Dharma ninth house, there's a rejoining of your character or your career or your inner emotional life. That would be ascendant, sun, and moon with a renewed sense of purpose. It's funny. I have a sun in Aries at 14 degrees and a moon, and I literally did a collage, and my collage says finding deeper purpose. I did that about a month ago, and I wasn't even thinking about this upcoming moon. And if you find a deeper purpose in not just the week ahead into Monday, but also connected to the follow to the lunation, which can roll out for 6 months, you are coming into true north, compass alignment with deep calling. Jupiter says, can we pull from the ancestral line? Can we pull from the way that your family of origin and ancestors had something important, purposeful, and meaningful to contribute to reality? Where is the spark of life force, creative energy in your ancestral line? Can you thread it out and pull and tease that thread out? Because it's not just about you. It's about the honoring of the ancestral line and pulling that thread. Now, of course, Jupiter could also open up a life force, passion, new home, right? A passionate place, exciting new home. And it could unfold in the 6 months after this new moon. Jupiter is the Lord of the moon, and it could bring you an exalted new home that realivens you in the next 6 months after the moon, but also connected to what Venus desires for you. Are you a single Aries? Any one of you, sun, moon, or rising, are you single? If you are, falling in love with somebody that you meet through a spiritual community, through an educational setting or a far off land and shore. The person could even be living in your country, but born in another country, speaks a different language, has a different skin color, different religion. They are like a foreigner, and you could be finding a new love. No, do you find it this week? Probably not, but maybe. But it's also hooked up to the new moon, generating a current of love, romance, and new beginnings within the 6 months that follows our new moon on Friday. We're moving on to Taurus. So let's fix the chart so I can rotate you guys. Bum, 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 whole sign. And Taurus is next. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising, kind of a once in a lifetime, guys. You're going to feel like Eros and Venus are hooked up on a Sag new moon like this. And so what do we want to do with it? Well, first of all, you might notice in the sky that chironically you've been down in the dumps in your 12th house ever since 2019. Potentially, this has been an existential crisis, finding, your spiritual truth. You might have also been kind of down in the dumps about people who've gone into hospital settings, maybe even passed away in hospital settings. And therefore, that has really given you, since 2019, a difficult narrative to work with. I know a Taurus guy who lost his wife of 40 years in a hospital setting since Chiron entered the 12th house. And there's a good reason for that if it's a spousal loss, because, Mars rules both the spousal house and the hospital house in your chart. You might also find that you've been dealing with a chironic wound about addictions. You know that you shouldn't be smoking that weed or vaping the nic or whatever, or taking the wine to the extreme or whatever other things that you shouldn't be doing. And you've been really trying to pull away from it since 2019, or you've been noticing it's a problem and you want to heal it once and for all. Well, to replace the addictive substance, you need to find something that's a new habit or a new source of enjoyment, new source of dopamine. And I would also think that maybe dopamine itself, the rats on the lever getting a nice little dopamine hit, is what Eros is. We fall in love when we get high on love. So there's something else to replace the thing that is wounded you when it comes to substances that you ingest or smoke or whatever. So there is a shift. Finding a new enchantment, finding a new source of pleasure or enlivenment could come off of this week's story. And I do want to mention that with the energy of Atlas seeding the South Node in the house of releasing and letting go of joyful pleasures that may not be good, you guys are looking like, and the sun up here with the cleansing and purifying need to cleanse and purify poisons from your reality. A lot of you are going very detox in the sky, or very, very purifying cleanse away from misguided pleasures. Finding all of this energy here, Venus flowing to the chironic wound in the 8th house, might be helping you excavate and undo shame, betrayal, and abandonment, psychological baggage that you've been carrying, and sort of unraveling it finally at last forever. Because this is a house to do with money you share with other people, and there's a fresh start with those monies, you could also say banking loans, mortgages, shared spousal resources, divorce and inheritance monies, and a healing vibration, a new start, something fresh wants to happen. But the sun represents father figures as well, the moon, mother figures. And there may be, with the sun ruling your legacy wealth house, there may be the offering of money from a father figure coming through, whether it's just a gift or they pass and give you money. That could be true in the 6 months that follows this Friday's new moon. So I would say to you, it could be either or both. And finally, Jupiter is telling us, look at that. He's in your 3rd house. He's the owner of the lunation, but he also squares the chironic wound Eros energy. So don't worry about a square from Jupiter. It's still good. And he's like, okay, when push comes to shove, when shove comes to push, are you looking to relocate your neighborhood? Are you living in the right city or the right town or the right area within your town? Because I can see Jupiter opening up massive doors of expanded neighborhood joy. Okay. Or if you're working in the social media online landscape, bringing you a healing of an inability to get the digital income and revenue that you truly deserve, and making an opening or a portal to that being available to you. And this is kind of connected as well to the moon, right? On because Jupiter rules the moon from the 3rd. And that moon here could open up, the idea that you're going to start making money in different ways that are less paychecky and more chunks. But also, if you do digital income borderless revenue, that's good for you. You're going to see some income increases off of this. Now, I am going to just stop the share for a brief second and grab a bit of survival chocolate. I'm going to share with you guys one of my snack hacks, right? Because I couldn't find any chocolate in the house. So these are the most amazing dates I've ever had. They're organic, they're raw, natural, and they're from the nation of Iran, USD organic, imported, obviously, I think, to the United States, but into Canada. For that very reason, please don't touch that country. That country has the best dates in the world. After you take that date, you open it up and you put a piece of sharp cheddar into the middle. Or these are the softest dates, succulent and soft. Or you put a piece of a pecan or a walnut or a Brazil nut. And I tell you, there's nothing better. And it's the fastest snack, and it just recalibrates the old blood sugar. And dates are superfood. They're really good for you. So I don't know if you guys have tried that. I don't know what you can't put in a date. It all tastes great, but take some oh my God, like applewood smoked cheddar or raw, or I have some raw milk cheddar here and put it in that date and or manchego cheese. Okay. Obviously I was hungry because I'm talking about food. I am recording. Okay. We're going. Hope I stopped the recording where I went to grab my food. Goodness gracious. Okay. And now we're going to go into the next sign, which is, we're just not doing it because we're somehow stuck. Oh, I get what's going on. We're going to talk about the next sign, which is Gemini. I have a progressed sun in Gemini. So I relate the last 16, 17 years. If you guys are interested in learning a little mini tutorial on how to progress your sun, that's up in my members only section here. I'm going to be putting out a whole series for my members only, which is like the Lord of the first house through the 12 houses, the Lord of the second house through the 12 houses. And it's very fun and educational. Those videos are about half hour each. So if you like that kind of fast drop info, it's in my members only section. Gemini, sun, moon, and rising. First of all, first things first. One thing you're going to notice is like a chironic headache over here in your 11th house since 2019. Maybe your friends don't suit you. You feel like you don't belong. You feel like the outsider, the outcast in your friendship groups, wounded by your friends. My Gemini sun progress went through that because of the pandemic, and I didn't take the protocol that everyone else did because my intuition said no. And that I was banned from social events. I was outside, ostracized. And also in Canada, I couldn't travel. We had the worst punishments for the unvaccinated. So I felt like an outcast, an outsider. I felt judged by my friends and I didn't belong. So you see what I mean, right? There's something, I couldn't do anything with them either. I couldn't go to a restaurant. So there's something you're feeling like, oh my God, that wound. We make money we reward ourselves financially from our career in the 11th. It's the gains of the career, the second from the 10th. And, you might be wounded there. You might feel like, because Chiron's going to demand purposeful earnings. And sometimes you might be going like, is this it? Am I on the astrological weather girl forever? Those kinds of wounds, long range plans and dreams that didn't work out, wounded. So there's wounds up there. And then what happens is Chiron is going to leave anyway in 27. You're finishing up the wound, you're healing the wound, and the wound is connected to a new energy this week ahead. You'll start feeling it, I think, Wednesday through to Monday, of a revitalization, life force energy, re-enchantment, falling back in love with something. Some person could be healing a relationship with a sibling when older, healing and revitalizing a friendship that had fallen out or away, revitalizing your long range goals and dreams and falling back in love with the plans you're making for your life, or falling in love again with, a group of friends that, you abandoned, or finding new friends that really enchant you. So Wednesday through to Monday, right? Wednesday through to Monday. And the energy's fortified by Venus. Venus is coming into the storyline and she's flowing to Eros, flowing to Chiron, helping you heal the chironic wound. She'll be working on it all week long. And then she'll grand finale it with Eros. And it's coming from the significant long-term love house. Now, this is an interesting time for you because there may be something to do, because Chiron's retrograde, with wounded love from the past. And you might be revivifying your love to your marriage partner or significant long-term love partner. Venus is the ruler of your fifth house of romantic love and sexual love and falling in love. Eros is falling in love. Funny enough, he's in the friendship house. So if you have someone who's a friend, you might fall in love with them. They might fall in love with you. You might have a friend-zoned ex, and then you guys might fall back in love again. There's a re-enchantment in the area of love and friendship and romance coming through the sky, really Wednesday through to Monday. Particularly fascinating to me as a new moon is happening up here, new beginnings and fresh starts in your seventh house. And so no matter what, every new moon will tumble into a 6-month story. New beginnings in love, new beginnings in romance. Thank you, Venus. And kind of with all this cool asteroids up here, purifying your approach to love, cleansing your approach, overcoming the toxic wounds of love is here as well. So if you're married, it could re-enchant the relationship. If you're single, it could bring you somebody. And finally, I kind of like that Jupiter is here in your second house of money, earnings, resources. The wallet pocketbook is expanding, but he's retrograde until March. So you're kind of finding it's more like deepening your bounty, looking at what brings you joy in making money, what really satisfies you in making money. So it's a little bit of a hiatus on the actual ka-ching, but it's still there. And he is flowing or squaring to this Chironic wound in the gains of your career. This isn't just on the surface. This is more than just making more money. It is being re-enchanted, vitalized, passionate, in love with the way you make the money, with wisdom and truth embedded within it. So some of you might have to recalibrate. Don't forget, we have the Atlas asteroid moving through, a comet moving through your fourth house with the south node this week. Can you let go, release, and surrender? Right? The ancestral stories that tell you what you're capable of, what your worth is, and what your value is in the world, so that you can be as wealthy and successful as you want while being invited to enchantment and life force energy in the way you make money. That's what I've got for you. Good luck with that. Mondays are my shorter videos. If you think I'm going fast, it's not really that, but they're usually no longer than an hour and 20 minutes. Hopefully that's true this time. If you are a Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign, we have a very interesting Chironic wound in the 10th house since 2019, asking you to fix the wound of purpose, career, reputation, your visible stature in the world. Some of you just feel like maybe you've been trying desperately to find meaningful career path, to use your natural talents and gifts. My sister, who timestamps for me as my assistant and more, she left her nursing career behind in 2018-19. Chiron then has been moving through her 10th house, trying to help her find a meaningful, true purpose. She sort of did one path even since retiring from nursing and realized that's not it yet. She hasn't hit the mark. So a lot of you have been feeling like, I'm working in this area, but I'm not really feeling it. There's something new that has to emerge. My teacher in astrology, Adam Ellenbus, I believe it's a Taurus Sun, Cancer rising, but he's got a Cancer Sun or rising. And I just think I wonder how it's been for him, because his channel took off since 2019 during the pandemic, but he's also looking for the Chironic element in his 10th house to be aligned with his purpose and meaning in life. Writing a book called The Oracle Speaks could be what it is. Now, I like this energy for you because there's a re-enchantment, there's a relifing, revitalizing of your purpose in life and your meaning and your career path. And it's also connected to Venus loving you from the house of work. So this is the job, the service, the work you do. And she wants to reignite some new passion for your work. And it's very possible that starting this week, you'll start to feel this building up, right? Maybe even Tuesday, Wednesday through to Monday, as she's going to hit up Chiron and Eros life force energy. And she's embedded within the new moon, the new beginning, the fresh start here on Friday. And there's a new beginning in your work. And this moon takes up to 6 months to unfold. So over the 6 months that follows, this new moon is like, are you going to move into a new line of work or a new direction within the work you do that brings you more joy and excitement and life force vitalization? You probably will. Energetically, it can also increase your earnings because the sun rules your house of earnings. Now, one thing about the sky is that Jupiter is also in the mix, and he happens to be, in this regard, squaring the 10th house. He asks for nothing more than truth, knowledge, and wisdom, and a deep inner knowing that the path you're going to pursue professionally in your career is right for you. Are you retired? Then what do you do in the visible world that you're of service to others that makes you feel like you're successful or accomplished, right? That's the question. And Jupiter is literally going to lean into this for you, help you find deep inner knowing, not gnosis, not just knowledge and information, knowing within yourself, the knowing heart. What is the right path for you? And Jupiter will be helping define that through till March. And this new beginning in work takes up to 6 months to fully flesh out. So I can see that you're navigating a new path. The Atlas comet is moving through this week, your third house, which is your neighborhood. But it's just because of the South Node. What are you getting ready to let go of in your algorithmic code to do with some defining sibling stories? Let go of something that's connected to a sibling that's no longer needed. Release and surrender. Maybe my sister says she's retiring from my staff. Who knows? But sibling closures, endings, releasing, but also a new kind of energy, right? Because Atlas is crossing the South Node in the siblings house for you. So opening up new doorways of new vibrational frequency connected to your sibling relationships, your neighbor relationships, maybe even your extended family, aunts, uncles, cousins at all. Okay. All right, Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. Let's see what this looks like for you. It's a very interesting time that you're going to see yourself in the light of. I want to make this bigger for us now that I'm not actually pulling away. Yeah, a little bigger. That you're going to see yourself in the light of healing the chironic wound in your 9th house. It began in 2019. Chironic wounds here are crisis of meaning, of purpose. So maybe a wound with a father figure relationship or a father figure who has been ill since 2019. Wounds regarding academic colleges and campuses, and maybe misfiring on where you went to school, not liking what you learned. Woundedness and spiritual belief, not trusting your religion, losing your religion, as they say, not knowing what spiritual path is true and real. You might notice that Chiron here has brought you shamans, guides, mentors, teachers, coaches to try to help you find your way, find your true north. So this chironic energy is alive with life force Eros enchantment this week ahead. And it's going to be a beautiful sky as Venus hits up first Chiron and then Eros. And Eros is flowing to that moon. So to me, it's like a fresh new start and beginning in your 5th house, which is the house of enthusiasm, inspiration, joy, enjoyment, play, and pleasure. It literally is the playground of the chart, and your muse and creative energies and procreative energies and sexual and romantic energies live there. Your natural gifts and talents live there as well that you were born with. So all of that energy is being renewed and fleshed out as a fresh start with a new moon on Friday, connected to a Venusian impulse, which is in her joy here. So you're having a whole reboot. Now, this could also be children. You are going to get pregnant. Your partner's going to get pregnant, or you're going to be becoming a grandparent. And that's going to bring you a new love of life, a new vitality, a new inspiration in being alive. This energy can also be connected maybe to where you need to purify the pleasures of life because of the star that's connected to this, Elatin, whatever. Just trust me, it's there. And it's about poisons, where there are poisons in the 5th house. Well, usually it's the pleasures of life that you are over the top, right? What one glass of wine is pleasurable, 10 glasses of wine is a hangover, and you tox your body out. So pleasures that are poisonous have to be removed and purified from your life, whatever they may be, Possibly as well, Venus is going to bring one of your children into a new excitement about life because maybe they're going to go off to school and fall in love with their studies. That's a story. Okay. Or one of your children's falling in love with somebody else. And it could be someone from a foreign land or different culture or religion or background than you and your children have. And those are kind of nice stories to feel into, Wednesday through to Monday. But the new moon also tumbles those narratives out for up to 6 months after. Jupiter in your 12th house. Well, he's always Mr. Santa Claus, fairy godfather, squaring the chironic wound and owning the moon that's taking place. The chironic wound squared by Jupiter, to me, is definitely a wound around your spiritual life. This is the house of God. This is the house of enlightenment. It's going to help some of you really turn a corner around a deflation or challenge you've had with finding a meaningful, purposeful, spiritually aware life. But Jupiter here can also be like some money coming from a wounded father figure connected to things like hospitals or places of convalescence. So you might be getting a bit of a bequeathment archetype. And if you're wounded in any possible way regarding travel, like for some reason you love to adventure around the world and you've been held back, this can open up new doors, but you would be more likely traveling for spiritual reasons than anything else. Like I'm going to a ashram, a detox spa, or something like that. Those kinds of travels can really open up for you. The doors may start opening up anytime this week, maybe all the way through the week into next Monday. Look for those things to shift. Okay, Virgo, the Virgin, 3iAtlas is moving through Virgo this week ahead, aiming for the first degree of Virgo by Christmas time on December 25th. So this energy is going to be highlighting you. You're going to feel this energy through to the end of this week, through to December 25th of kind of, wow, there's an interstellar body moving through my sun, moon, and rising place, right? So you tell me about it in the comments. What will it be like? To be really safe, I'm going to say you're going to really feel it kind of like probably after about the 13th, 14th onward to, Christmas time. What is it like to be activated by this strange celestial body? Watch my intro. I discuss my thoughts about it. Maybe it's seeding a new vibrational frequency for rising your body and character in the sim, sun, purpose, vitality, and soul level energies of who you are, and your moon, how you think and feel about life or matters to do with where you live. And there's a new vibration coming through, something interstellar, something completely once in a lifetime. That said, we have a sky where you've been dealing with a chironic wound. 3 birds flew by my window for you. 3 seagulls flew 1, 2, 3 in a row within like a foot of my window. That was crazy. Was it crows? I'm sorry, it was 3 crows. 2, 3. Go Google the meaning of crows because they're for you. And there's 3 of them. Now, but then they went this way. I saw them again, but further away. Okay, so that was eerie, Virgo. I want you to consider the idea that you have dealt with a bit of a wounding here in your 8th house of inheritance money. My Virgo daughter splurged and spent one summer all of her grandma inheritance. Don't worry, it wasn't a lot of money for you gasping, but she was too young to get at 18. She didn't really, know how to handle it. She should have invested it. She hates herself for it today. She regrets it. So chironic wound about how you have dealt with money that is other people's money. That can include inheritances. That can include money you share with a spouse or don't share, divorce settlement monies, all of that. Money with banks, loans, mortgages, and debts, carrying too much bank loan, mortgage, leveraging, feeling really bad, ashamed, anxious about it. There's a wounding around the money that comes through those venues I just described. And possibly you're going to find yourself healing that wound because there's a new enchantment, vitalization, life force energy, Eros, Chiron here. It is squared by Jupiter, the god of windfalls, in the house of windfalls, in the house of his joy. Looks like you might be entertaining a financial windfall coming through your sky. Jupiter retrograde from the past. It's almost like you knew it was going to come or it was there already. It may not be a surprise. Finally, it's available. Is it a sale of a property? Is it inheritances? Is it spousal separation monies? Is it money that you expect to come in some way? Because in retrograde, you should know it. It should be nothing completely surprising. Jupiter retrograde here is connecting you to the past. But also Jupiter here says windfalls or pennies from heaven. And because he's a ruler of your part of your sky, that's your marriage house, it also could be financial windfalls from the life of your significant other. And you're participating in those windfalls together. And it's going to reframe your chironic wound about chunks of money that have been weighing you down in the past. I would like to say that this is playing out, of course, this energy of Jupiter this week, Wednesday through to Monday with the chironic stuff. But because Jupiter owns the moon in your 4th house of legacy wealth, and that moon takes 6 months to flesh out, the other meaning is someone in your family of origin may give you money. Now, they could give you a check. They could give you a trust fund account. They could go pass away and give you inheritance money. And for some of you, Virgos, that's true in the 6 months that follows this week's November 19th new moon. So I have to call it when I see it. Venus is in inviting in a new enjoyment in your home, a new love of home, a new beautiful home, beautifying, decorating a new home. It's a new home because we have a new moon. And you can also add to that the idea that you want to purify in the home because you're going to avoid poisons in the home. So whatever that means for you, like all natural fabrics, soy candles only, in my home, I am nourishing, detoxing, I am cleansing, and I am beautifying, and I am happy, and I'm enjoying my home. Now, if the home's not new, and some of you will be a new home, then it's a new way of being in your home, right? So you might paint the house, but you might also add a new kind of refined enjoyment in the home, right? This pure and fresh and virginal or something. And if you want to sell a property or buy a property in this kind of sky within 6 months of the new moon, it could go very well for you. The gains of a property sale include an exalted Mars in the fifth. So I would own that for you and say property sales can go against the trend of the public trend of lower prices. You might even do better than you think. All right. Or buying a home, either one. Getting a great price for a new home or buy. And because the moon is ruled by Jupiter, some of you, it's a new home purchased, bought, or moved into with a significant long-term love partner. So that's what I've got for you. This is exciting times, finding that life force energy, that vitalization, the preserving force of life in the 8th house with healing a chironic wound. It's almost like you're coming out of a dungeon of difficulty in the 8th house. The 8th house is like very karmic, right? So a lot of karmic difficulties have been in your life as well, but you're really refreshing the screen and you probably lost people, right? Chiron here since 2019. People in your life died to you or died for real. And now or your partner's family, the in-laws died and you've both been through a hard time. And now you're going to start shearing out of that energy, moving out of that difficulty. And we have Libra, sun, moon, and rising. Could I stop the share for a sec? No, it's not a chocolate break. I'll be right back. And we move into the Libra sun, moon, and rising sign folk. It's a time for you that you can see. You have Venus, the Lord of your sign, in your 3rd house with a fresh beginning and a brand new moon, along with, of course, this purification star to avoid the poisons of the 3rd house. For some of you, it's going to be very practically a neighborhood issue. The hood, the zone in which you live, the local environment, the daily routines in the environment changing. Okay. New beginnings and fresh starts for more pleasure, enjoyment, and purity here. And it could even be more social time. And so there's a very strong indication for some of you of relocating to a new neighborhood, new moon, new beginnings within 6 months of this story happening, right? Not right away, but this week you'll see evidence for how that can flow. Maybe you'll start to, the seeds of it will show up this week and next week for a neighborhood shift. And if you're going to change your neighborhood, it's going to invite in new love and romance. Now, if you've been wounded about finding a significant love partner, honestly, you've been dealing with it since 2019, or business partnerships that have let you down, an audience and marketplace that have let you down, or something like that. Holy man, look at this beautiful Eros chironic wound healing. But it comes through either a change of hood, local environment, new city, new part of the town, or it can come through the archetype of travel. You're traveling shorter distance usually, and you bump into a love story. So single Libras looking for love, look no further than this new beginning, new moon that could invite a new relationship full of passion and ardor, vitality and life force in the 6 months that follows this week's November 19th new moon. Now, Venus is also helping you with Eros revitalize and the excitement you have around writing, communicating, marketing, teaching, and selling, and audience marketplace clients and all of that. A new fresh zest for it all, a new fresh enlivenment of those things in your life, if those are things that you're up to, right? Jupiter in your 10th house of career is expanding career success, this year, all of 25 from, oh my goodness, end of May. Is it end of May or June? End of June through until July of next year. And Jupiter here is definitely an ally, but he's retrograde, and he'll be retrograde through till March. So it's a slowdown of the external perks, right? The money, the fame, the glory, the top of the sky excitement of being so on your Mount Olympian high horse of success, high hilltop of a success, growth, expansion, luck, opportunity, wealth, and prosperity in the career, right? Which is good for you until next year, until July. But anyway, he's retrograde, but he's still giving you the goods, but he's deepening your bounty because he'll bring deep knowing, truth, and wisdom into the way you wish to prosper through your career. When I know a Libra who pulled back a bit a month ago when Jupiter started retrograding here and realized that he was working too hard. A Libra who said, I got to value friends and family and social time. I can't just be working all the time. So some of you Libras probably recognize the shift already. But the Jupiter squares the Chironic wound in the house of relationship. And this is the house of weddings. Now, I'm going to say, if you are wounded about weddings too, like you've marriages have always gone south, or I've never been married, no one's ever proposed, or my partner said he'd never marry me, but I want to get married. Any of these kinds of narratives, or she would never want to get married. There's a turning around of that. There's some kind of healing going on here. So your partner can propose to you, for example. Would that happen this week? Wednesday through to Monday, maybe, but it could also be seated within the new moon that Jupiter owns, indicating a potential that, like on a romantic getaway or in a local restaurant, third house in the hood, your partner gets on a bended knee or something. And it could happen that the woman a woman can propose to a guy, a girl can propose to a girl, a guy can propose to a guy. We're not genderizing this. We're just talking about inviting in a deeper level of formal commitment to an existing relationship, including a marriage type relationship proposal. And what about your career? Well, your career is definitely going to be doing well with Jupiter there, but you might be healing chironic wounds about how you have interfaced with your fans, your audience, and your marketplace. Oh, maybe not feeling the full juice that you're capable of. I mean, I love that Jupiter trines, all of this in your sixth house as well. So you're coming into like a beautiful energy anyway. And now the moon is just jumpstarting something. I'd encourage some of you who might be into writing, Mercury rules your publishing house, podcasting, publishing, writing, communicating, book publishing, success stories are engendered by this new fresh start, new moon beginning. And with all the stars down here, Varda, who's connected with stars, and Asteria, I think that you could have a stardom here, stardom in your teaching, writing, marketing, communicating, selling stories. In 6 months, it follows this moon. So bestseller, a big hit, lots of success. And the asteroid is mostly kind of going through the Virgo sky through till by December the 25th, it's at 0 Virgo. So we're going to say that kind of you're vibing into like setting South Node, let go, release, surrender, new algorithmic interstellar code to your addictions, self-undoing, bad habits and patterns, maybe a blessed release, but also to past life karma, vows of poverty, chastity, suffering. I suffer in silence for the greater good. Whatever your silly things you agreed to in other lives that you've got a hangover, releasing those codes for good, thanks to an interstellar blessing. Let's call it that. Hey, Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. It is exciting to see that you've got this energy of healing a chironic wound in your sixth house with a life force revitalization. Usually it's about job, work, and I find my clients who have gone through this wound since 2019 have work, but don't really enjoy the work. They go, this is not my purpose. I'm like at Starbucks. I'm like in a sales job or whatever. It's not for you, but you're there for a time, a reason, and a season. And so there's a feeling of that. You don't belong to the colleague coworker space, and you don't fit in. You're not one of the tribe. You really don't care about what they're doing or what the job is. They do, you don't. There's a mismatch. You're a square peg in a round hole in a work setting. That's the vibe, right? You're doing it, but it's not your passion. Maybe there's a turning point. We'll find that chironic wounds with Eros life force energy, if it doesn't bring you a new love relationship in the work environment, office romance because you're single, then it's going to energetically be a shift towards a new inspiration, vitality, and aliveness connected to your work. And if there's any health problems that have been devitalizing your life force energies, this will be a turnaround story to new life force vitality and energy coming your way. Venus is the activator. The sun her sun is Eros from the second house of money, earnings, resources, new beginnings, fresh starts, and how you make your money. And it's also to purify your money. Where is the money that you need to like really look at it closely? Where is it leaking out of your life or something? Where is it toxic spending? You know, those cigarettes cost a lot of money each month. Can you eliminate it? Which brings me to health, vitality through dietary change, Scorpio. Venus is the goddess of what pleasures we ingest here through our mouth or nose. We have a purifying need to get rid of the poisons that we put in our mouth and nose, our face, flowing to new life force vitality in the house of health. All said and done, this is indicating a turnaround through dietary shifts as well. Gaia is here, Earth Mother. Eat the earthy things, no processed food, straight from Mother Earth. Why not? Why not? You know, it's a time to purify your diet, time to cleanse. You'll find it naturally happening on the new moon anyway. And maybe it'll just be a digital detox too, but I think it's a physical food detox invited in on the 19th of the month. And probably you'll do dry Jan or something, but there's more to it than that. It's deeper than that. It's a 6-month unfoldment of vitality through better dietary habits and styles. Now, you might beautify your face with Venus here. Do not do cosmetic surgery when she's invisible under the beams of the sun. So not until mid-February is she visible. I'd prefer you wait for veneers or facelifts, but you do you. Don't change your whole life because of an astrologer. This is just a suggestion. Okay, so then it looks like you want to make a pivot towards more money, better money, new fresh starts in your job, loving your work, changing how you feel about it, feeling like you belong in the workplace. Maybe some of you office romances could come for singletons. Yeah. Then we go into the idea of what Jupiter tries to bring it into it. And he's like, okay, align with meaning, purpose. And that's what Chiron wants to. So there's a real realignment through blessed, lucky opportunities connected to things from your past that could open up doorways of opportunity connected to new career directions. In the 6 months that follows this moon, you could also come into abundance and money from a father figure in some manner that allows for an exploration of more going back to school, re-educating, finding a deeper alignment with your purpose because you have some financial freedom to like knock off the Starbucks job. Those are possible stories here as well. A teacher, a guide, or a mentor from your past, a coach even, may come into your life this week ahead, into early next week, and give you professional guidance or opportunity. And ironically, human resource departments are all about your best interest this week ahead and into next week. So there's those stories as well. And a new beginning, fresh start, sun rules your career house. It is definitely, I don't care if you're not changing your job, then you're changing your position in the job, you're elevating, you're finding more success, but more enjoyment in the work as well. Something is changing and you're going to welcome the change. The Atlas thingy is going through your 11th house for basically, I say certainly by midweek this week through till December 25th. And, you know, as this energy is increasingly intense as it goes this way, crossing the South Node, I'm wondering if you are going to find like, let's go the 13th, 14th to the end of December to about the 27th of December, 6th of December, that you're recalibrating what you need to let go of in your social groups and friendship circles. And you might bring a new type of friendship group and circle into your life. And finally, you might even let go of a particular means of creating money in your life through your career because it's got a new algorithmic interstellar code for your story. All right. Release, surrender, let go. 3iAtlas is helping. Well, Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. Let me glug of water here. And the sky is interesting for you because you're experiencing this new beginning and new moon. The Sagittarius sky is where basically the comet, the mysterious comet, originated from the heart of the Milky Way. And of course, you're very much, you know, especially I'd say the 23 to 29 Sages, okay, because that's the sidereal 29 to 23 Sag. You're really, truly both sidereal Sag and Western tropical Sag people. You definitely are really highly hooked up to this comet, okay? Something about the comet originating from those degrees of your sign in Western tropical for sure. I want you to think about, same with Scorpios, they're part of the or origin story of the comet. I should have mentioned that for you guys. So Scorpio Sag is, where the comet seems to have hailed from. Late Scorpio, right? Let's go, I don't know, probably somewhere like 23 Scorpio to 29 Sag. You kind of are vibing with the origin of the comet. So let's go ahead and say, my brain's offline. So that's what I've got. Yeah. Let's go ahead and say you are finding yourself in one of the most amazing new moons of your lifetime, Sagittarius, because not only is there all of this starlight in here, Varda and Asteria, and the star for purification from poisons, and Gaia, the Earth Mother, and Huya, from the rainmaking god from beyond the sun. It's almost like Sages are hooked up to something from beyond this world. Venus is protective here, even as she's invisible. And you are under a very strong benefic spell. So more than any other new moon, this is powerful for you. And I think the new moon, new beginning for you, Sag, is very much about an ability to purify, whatever that looks like for you, your thoughts, your ideas, your associations, your friendships, your relationships, your addictions. You need to cleanse, you need to purify. You'll be feeling the call of that as this moon approaches on Friday. And then it's going to unfold for 2 weeks with some of the main ingredients. And then it'll still continues to roll out for 6 months. Now, with this purification energy and all these Sagittarius activations, Mercury, the Lord of your marriage house, is here. And for some of you, there may be some very detoxing from significant relationships that are no longer useful to you, whether it's your business partner or a misguided marriage situation. There may be almost a spiritual cleansing off of that relationship. Even if you stay together, maybe you're cleansing off of the negative part of that relationship that hasn't served you. And Venus is going to help you heal the chironic wound in your 5th house of sexual and romantic love that has been bothering you since 2019. Meaning that maybe it's just not worked out as well as you'd like with your romantic and sexual partnerships. And there may be some challenges with health issues as well for you or your partner that have gotten in the way of that. And you're really maybe now, and you've been beaten down by those problems. And if you're an artist or creative, I don't care what, singer, writer, musician, I don't care, storyteller, your muse has been bothering you. You're like, I can't feel her, what she's saying. I don't get the message. I feel dead in my creative energy. If you've been wounded with your children and bad relationship challenges, or your children have been wounded, or your fertility has been wounded for procreation, all of these stories are here, right? The wound. Like I have a Sag friend who's never had kids. He's about, I don't know how old he is, 55 maybe. And I think he wants children. He just never found the right woman. And I think that's what I mean by the chironic wound in the 5th house. It's possible with a life force arrow that this is a fertility signature for those of you looking to make children. Or it can also bring you grandchildren with the sun ruling your 9th house. So children and grandchildren vivifications and healing stories want to show up maybe Wednesday, Thursday through to Monday, but because it all gets tangled into the new moon, it can take up to 6 months to unfold. So if there's going to be fertility, pregnancy, healing new romance coming in your life, or healing an existing romance and relationship, give it up to 6 months to unfold, right? But look for evidence of this to be true within 2 to 3 weeks maximum after the new moon on the 19th. Jupiter is all about the chunky money. And with the North Node here, you could get some chunky money coming from property sale or a family of origin money, especially from a grandparent or a very old parent, okay? Bequeathing land or money or property or resources to you. For sure. And this is again tied to the moon, right? Why? Because Jupiter rules the moon and your house of inheritances. So it can take up to 6 months to see that what I just said is true. Okay. Don't look for it this week only, into next week. Jupiter wants, as he squares the 5th house, to untangle your shame, your betrayal, and your abandonment wounds psychologically to your soul, your psyche, when it comes to love. or with your children. Maybe you felt abandoned, betrayed, or shamed in your relationship with your children or your former romantic love partners. Jupiter's retrograde, dredging up the past wounds and healing them. What could heal them? A spark of vitality, a new spark. You might start falling in love with someone, somehow, somewhere. Okay. So if you start to fall in love, or love is falling in love with you, or your partner or someone falls in love with you, then that would revitalize you, in my humble opinion. Funny enough, Venus rules your house of friendships. So maybe you could fall in love with a friend, or they fall in love with you. Sounds like a good rom-com. All right, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. All right, it is Cappies for you, a story about a fresh start and a new beginning in your 12th house. It's really a spiritual house. It's one of the three moksha, liberation from the matrix, spiritual enlightenment houses. It's the big kahuna house of, going into the full enlightenment, like an Eckhart Tolle level or a Buddha level or something. And Byron Katie level, Adi Ashante level, take your pick if you know these guys. And it could open up a door for that. I mean, because it is a powerful new beginning, because there's so much interstellar stuff here. Like, from beyond the sun, Huya, and then Varda and Asteria, both feminine asteroids connected to the stars above us. And we also have a purification star activated, and Gaia, the Earth Mother. So you want to purify. If you are a Capricorn and you're eating the wrong foods, or you're drinking the wrong drinks, or you have an addictive pattern of some kind, it will help you purify and cleanse. But there's spiritual cleansing, right? It's funny. In the Bible, Jesus says, was it Jesus? Yeah. Well, it was somewhere in the Bible, it talks about fasting. Yes, Jesus. Like the way is to pray and to forego food, to fast. So some of you might want to go on a spiritual detox, like a cleansing, a fasting period. Your dreams can come through the 12th and 9th house energy. So pay attention to your dreams as well. With the comet 3iAtlas moving over your south node this week until like December 26th, over that south node through this part of your chart going this way, by the way. It really is saying, as let's say on the 19th, 2 days before and after, this is approaching the closest it is to Earth. It might really open up the doorways to the gates to God, right? This is the house of God, oracles and temples and deities and spiritual traditions and knowledge and wisdom. You have to let go of religion. You're not allowed, right? South Node right now through till next year, till next July. Started in January of 25, is surrender, release, and let go of any belief structures connected to religious or dogmatic stories. At the same time, discover the true spiritual path, right? The pathless path or some shit like that, because it's a south node. It's just spiritual surrender. You could see that this energy of this new moon, new beginning also is connected to healing that chironic wound in the 4th house of the mother, the 4th house of childhood, the 4th house of home and homeland. If you go back to 2019, where did you start to excavate wounds from childhood, wounds to connect to the mother relationship, wounds connected to homeland and home life and childhood, wounds connected to home? Maybe a lot of you have been feeling a little unsettled. You don't really feel at home in your home. You may not belong to the city or the area, the place you're living. You might feel out of place, like an outsider within, stranger in a strange land or something. And so there's a quality of Eros wanting to help you heal that, help you move through that by finding a new vitality and a new life force energy within the roots of the sky in the midnight hour of the 4th house. But because the sky is literal, it could mean falling in love with somebody in the 6 months that follows the new moon from a distant shore or far off land, which is the 12th house. It also might look like, with Jupiter in your house of committed long-term love ruling the lunation, that you might find yourself moving into a home with a new love partner, or one that exists taking a new form of cohabitation, deepening the love between you. But with Jupiter retrograde, it would indicate more likely a person connected to the past, a former relationship committed, coming back into a new form. It doesn't have to. But Jupiter retrograde is going back over the past, right? Not about the future. So I'm going to just plant that for you. I think as well that with the Eros energy in the fourth house and Chiron, the wound connected to the Venus trine, there's a huge interiority and a deep contemplation energy in houses 4 and 12. They're both home alone houses, right? Solitude, time in the midnight hour, so to speak, including dreams. That there's a huge psychological, psycho-spiritual shift going on. The sun is even ruling the 8th house to overcome the ego, the shame, betrayal, abandonment wounds from childhood and mother. So there's like a deep psychological, spiritual, psycho-spiritual shifting of the gears of your sky this week ahead. Epicenter Friday's moon, rolling into Monday, Tuesday next week, and then with the moon up to 6 months later. I always say that when Jupiter's in the 7th house, he can end a relationship that's not working, but he brings it into a harmonious and friendly ending. And but retrograde, it's usually I find that he can do that ending more actively when he's in direct motion. But there is that thing for some of you, it could be a harmonious completion of a relationship as well. And because of the 12th house, it might be the ending of a karmic relationship, a past life connection, especially with Mercury ruling the 6th house. All right, Aquarius, I'm one of you. Here we have our sky. We are looking at the 11th house of good spirit, and it's going to be Friday's new moon with Venus trining with this new moon, your chironic wound in the 3rd house of siblings, extended family, cousins, uncles, and aunts, the neighborhood in which you live, the neighbors, the neighborhood, the daily places you go in the neighborhood, restaurants, bars, workout places, healing a chironic wound around your mind, the way you think about life, your ideas, your writing, your communicating, maybe physical problems with your wrists or hands. It's funny. I ended up with carpal tunnel syndrome. Never had it before in 2021 during this chironic wound. So there you go. Perfect example. Arms. So like kind of your arms and hands come through the 3rd house. And I've got the shoulder injury as well, impingement or something. And so all said and done, you're healing those wounds, both physical, both, hey, what's wrong with my hood? Why don't I like it? Where's the wound? So my example would be me going through the pandemic and not getting the protocol that everyone was forced to get, and then being banned from museums, restaurants, coffee shops, everything but supermarkets and liquor stores, really. So there was my neighborhood, hell in a handbasket for 2 years in Canada. We were very strict. Travel wound. I wasn't allowed to travel in my own country on any trains, planes, or automobiles. So I could only drive my car. So like that, there was a wound there, guys. So you could Google back. You tell me why were you wounded since 2019, fellow Aquarians, to do with the neighbors, the neighborhood, the things you can do in the local area, local, shorter distance travel, domestic travel, things to do with, were you wounded in the writing house? I couldn't write a damn thing since 2019. Finally got my mojo back recently. You are now looking at life force, vitality, and renewed energy and passion coming into the 3rd house, passionate about what you're writing about. Social media platforms, all of them belong to the 3rd house. New passion and ardor and excitement about those platforms. And if you had a difficult relationship with a sibling and something went wrong, a renewal of the vitality and the joy between you and that sibling. And it's all happening from the house of good spirit, the 11th house, which is also a windfall house where some good money can come to you in a new, fresh start and new beginning. But it's also career gains and success in your career. If money is to come to you in a new, fresh start and new beginning, and it could, you never know, let's never say never, then it likely is going to come through an ally, a benefactor, a sibling, one older, somebody who wants to support you. And it more likely looks like professional new beginnings and more money. So Venus and Mercury up here are like, you're on someone's podcast, someone favors you. You're going to get help from another person to lift you up to higher levels of professional advancement or success. Their energy of Jupiter is in the work house and health house, and he's in a square to Chiron in the third. So the ways in which your daily work routines have been difficult are turning around. If they've devitalized you, right? If they created a lack of life force, vitality, and joy and enthusiasm, then Jupiter retrograding backwards over toward that Chiron, who's running away from him technically, is literally going to heal the wound. For some of you, it could be a new job direction, new job opportunity, and it helps heal a chironic wound connected to the depleting ways that your marketing, writing, teaching, selling, social media life has belabored you, taken you down, drained you out. I kind of feel if you have a sibling with a health challenge, something is trying to turn that around for them, because it might not just be about you, right? Okay. And a professional travel opportunity can emerge. And that travel opportunity opens up doors for you of new excitement and enthusiasm in your life's work and your job and the way you engage in your daily life. Now, because this takes form as embedded within a new moon, look for up to 6 whole months for this to play out. And go watch my video about the moon that I put out, because I focus more on the bubble that can pop here. This is more taking the Chironic story and looking at that instead. The 3iAtlas is moving through your 8th house, basically. By the 25th of December, it's going to be right here at the going this way at the cusp of your 7th. So looking this weekend to December 25th energetically for a feeling of what you need to let go of and surrender. This is a deeply karmic house. Letting go and surrendering a lot of karmic baggage would be a simple way to put it. Shame, betrayal, and abandonment wounds. Release, surrender, let go. Let go of dependence on forms of money that you would call passive income, royalty income, ad income, shared monies with a spouse. Release, surrender, let go. But also there's a new signature. There's an interstellar signature to this. It's like you're being recoded, if Heather Enworth is right. Listen to the intro about this energy. If you're into enlightenment stories, this is an enlightenment house. It's surrendering the egoic identity. And so there's a very strong possibility that with the 3iAtlas moving through that south node there, it could open a cosmic portal of enlightenment, looking for that to be really active this week through till about the 26th of December. Alrighty. Last but not least, best and always best, is the Pisces sun, moon, and rising sign. Let's go with chironic financial wounds, also facial wounds, your teeth, your nose, your face. I got a couple Pisces in mind. One kept getting this thing growing on his eye, like a blotch, and he had to keep having it frozen off by the dermatologist. What do you call it? Like there's a name for it. It's just a pigmentation. My Pisces rising sister and my Pisces rising guy friend, teeth, and lost her teeth and had them pulled, and everyone's having problems with their teeth. Come on, Pisces, own up, right? This is the house of your face, right? Have you had teeth problems since 2019? Have you also had problems with your dietary style and habits? Have you been focused on the wrong food style? Have you been unable to break away from non-good health food styles? Have you been dealing with issues with how you feel about your appearance, not really liking how you look, feeling wounded about your facial identity, right? So 2019, you began to experience that, but it's a money house. It's like your pocketbook, your wallet, your savings, your earnings, right? In general, the money you can rake in like the leaves on the ground and, stockpile. So a lot of you have not felt quite right about that since 2019. Own it up, own it. Oh, I'm a Pisces. I had no problems with my money. Someone said me a couple of years ago. I said, okay, then you're the exception to the rule. But this has been going on at different degrees since 2019. So there's that. But there's episodes of financial distress, I'm sure, for many Pisces since 2019. And with the Eros life force vitality, passion, and desire here, and healing of the chironic wound flowing to Venus in the 10th house of reputation and career, it's very possible you're going to find yourself turning this story around. Right? It's going to be kind of a new moon, new beginning in the professional success, accomplishment, career space. That as this new beginning starts up, it pivots the financial wound. It doesn't have to be being employed by someone. It could be that, but it can also be your own self-employment. Jupiter rules the moon in the house of entrepreneurial consulting, self-employment stories. Now, the 10th house is a very visible part of the sky. Venus is with the birthing of the new moon. And we also have the star for detoxing or cleansing and purifying. Some of you might need to cleanse or purify your approach to your career or your reputation itself. But with Venus up here at the top of the sky, a benefic, invisible, but still powerful, blessing this new moon beginning. Venus is the exaltation lord of your sign. She's going to do well by you. She's going to try to bring you something quite stellar. Pisces sun in particular is very likely to be a career thing. Pisces rising, it can be so many different kinds of blessings in the 10th house, but she wants to do a good job for you, right? She's going to work it. If you're investing in stock markets and stuff like that with Jupiter in the 5th house and Venus, the Lord of the 8th, you could have some real financial success in the next 6 months off the new moon for stock portfolio investing, but be careful. The markets are very turbulent, and I don't think it's until at least early February that the stock market is less unstable. With the sun up there in the new moon ruling your 6th house, of course, there's always a possibility of a job coming your way, right? Jupiter can bring children to you here, okay? Your kids could be getting ready to have kids, or you could have new children coming into your life for some reason, in some fundamental way. And because Jupiter is talking to the life force energy, Eros, I'll make a case for you guys about windfalls. Right? It's a small case. It's not a big one. Jupiter is in the house of good fortune, which money that can be won can be had. And he's talking to Eros, life force vitality. And there could be a healing of a money wound through a windfall or a win of some kind, If that's going to happen, I'd say probably it might be more likely to show up a couple of days before the 19th and up to 2 weeks after. But a new moon could unfold a little bit longer than that, up to 6 months later. And the last thing I want to have to say for you guys is that if you're going to have a romantic story coming through the sky, this doesn't look like it. It looks like money, career things. But Venus in the 6th house or Venus traveling the 10th house means career, professional, office, romance. So the single Pisces looking for love, look no further than professional association, connections, and romance. And that's what I've got for you. The Atlas, 3iAtlas is moving through your South Node zone through till December 26th. It's moving this way down. And so it's really about releasing, surrendering, and letting go of the stuff connected to long-term love and commitment. It doesn't have to be letting go of a person, maybe letting go of your approach to those relationships, surrendering, releasing with a new cosmic code from an interstellar energetic about a new way to do it differently. I do love the stars up here, right? Varda and Asteria and Huya from beyond the sun, connecting to a potential stellar level of success and career that follows the 6 months on this new moon, like being a star in your career or wanting to be like a star. And the South Node in the 7th house can bring relationships from the past, any past lives, just the past in general, into the foreground during the pass of the 3iAtlas. So look for the energies coming through later this week through to about the 25th of December for a kind of cosmic shift in committed relationships from your past, something shifting there for sure. I can't say what it is because Heather Ensworth's interview with Amelia Ortez is what I'm talking about. Is worth listening to. I'll try to remember to put that in the description box. I enjoyed her a lot. You guys know that I don't like too much woo, that I kind of jokingly do like the Pam Gregory accent. I don't mean to harm her. I don't dislike Pam Gregory. It's just, I find sometimes there's a spiritual bypass energy on a lot of channels. And that spiritual bypass energy is like, we're just going to make it all love and light. We're just going to have an ascension. We're just going to, there is value in meditation and group meditation and harmonizing the frequencies of our being with stillness, vastness, and spaciousness. So, but sometimes I just feel like people want to make everything candy coated with love and light. And life isn't love and light, it's love and light and dark, right? It's the gamut. We're in the simulation. We're in the play of God. It's called the Leela. I called my dog Leela, my shepherd, because it is about a matrix here. Now, I have an outro. Do I have an outro? I'm sitting in stillness. Do I have an outro? I'm coming up with it. Like, where have I been, activated lately that I'd like to share with you? Well, this is a silly and fun one. There's an old saying by the Maharishi Mahesh Yogi that the first train at bedtime is 10 a.m. p.m. The second is 11 p.m. You got to get one of those trains. And if you miss it, you've missed the whole point of going to sleep at night, which is to have, not just rejuvenation, but spiritual attunement, connecting to your dream messages. And the more spiritually inclined we are, the more we meditate, we spend time in quietude where the thoughts aren't running the show. We calm ourselves down. We sit in still, thoughtless states of being. Then the more I notice that the dreams at night have become more profound, and they're prophetic for me, as you guys know. I'm still worried about a Pacific Coast earthquake, and I did call the flooding problems with Deucalion. There's all these floods in Washington and parts of British Columbia. In other videos, I even called Candace Owens and flashpointing Eric Kirk from the narrative of the sky in videos, but also in Substack. Predicted it would happen this week exactly when it did. But that's different. That's astrology. The dream life is a different kind of prediction level. And I trust it more than I trust the astrology and my intuition on that. And so my dream life is best when I go to bed, for me, by 10 o'clock at night. Any later than that, then I don't get those last dreams that I remember clearly that have prophetic value. So I had a dream, for example, last night about a girlfriend of mine and her friend. And her friend is quite unwell physically and tired, and they're really close, right? Really, they're a lesbian couple. They're really, really close. They're just best friends now. They're no longer in a relationship. And there's a real, I met this friend of my friend, so I know what she looks like and feels like. And basically, I dreamt that her friend was like in her 20s, not in her late 60s or early 70s, and fully rejuvenated, like looking like a glowing, like, I don't know, 19 or 22-year-old, radiant and beautiful on the right-hand side of my girlfriend, and kissing her on the cheek. And when I woke up from the dream, I'm like, oh, she's passing away. I don't think she's passed. I think it was a warning flare. And that she will be my girlfriend's right-hand ally on the right-hand side, sharing spiritual guidance from the other side. And then I got and talked to my friend today. I messaged her the dream, and I had the same vision in a ketamine ceremony recently. And I've been thinking about it a lot. And who will I be when she leaves? And so the outro is about paying attention to the dream life. Secondly, it's about going to sleep either at 11 or 10 a.m. and nothing later, for those dreams to have the full Monty, the full power that they can have for us. And I never get to bed after 12 o'clock and have anything decent show up in my dreams. Even if I sleep till 9 a.m., I'm an 8-hour a night girl minimum. And so anyway, let me know in the comments, have you experienced the truth that, like, the Marisha Yogi, the guy from the 60s with the Beatles? My brain just went offline. I trust that advice. I dreamt about the guy, by the way. It's a long story. He was in my dream twice. It was a spirit. It was a dead version of him. And he had some amazing messages to give me for another guy who was a guru that I was working with at the time. And it was powerful stuff. So I really feel an affinity for that particular path of, what is it called? Transcendental meditation and all of that. So pay attention to the bedtime time you go to sleep. And tell me if you get the better, truer guiding dreams because you went to bed early. All right. Let me know in the comments if that has been true for you as well. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful, amazing week ahead. And I'll be blind remote viewing 3iAtlas. What do I mean by blind? And hopefully you signed up for my course on my 5 top tips on how to use your psychic abilities that are easy, fun, and work, because it's free. Is it free? It's $10. It's down below. I literally did remote viewing. I'm not going to tell the whole story with some Project Stargate Fallout people, and I'm very good at it. I was filmed by the BBC doing a successful remote viewing session in a double blind setting. I literally don't like when people remote view and they say they're remote viewers and they know what they're looking at. And there's one woman in particular that I really don't appreciate on YouTube. And she's a Zionist, by the way, just got back from Israel. And she's like always remote viewing in a Zionistic perspective. And none of it turns out to be true or right. She's wrong. She's wrong. She's wrong because she's not blind remote viewing. She's remote viewing from the lens of knowing what her target is. And that means that her predilections for spiritual or Zionistic belief structures completely get in the way. Okay. And so it's wrong. She misses the mark. And so the protocol of remote viewing is to target a blind target. You don't know what the target is, and the handler who gives you the target doesn't know what the target is either, double blinding. So there's no interference patterns. So I'll be double blinding myself by having a set of index cards that I'll put together with questions that I even bought the index cards that I'm going to remote view. And I'm going to shuffle the deck. So I will know that there are 30 questions. I won't remote view 30 at a time. Let's say there's 10 questions I'll remote view. I only know that one of these questions is single blind. I only know that one of these 10 questions is about what the hell is the nature of the 3iAtlas. The other ones will be silly things like remote viewing, whether it's a good idea for me to spend time in Mexico in April, or I can have questions about people in my life with permission granted, so that when I remote view the answers for them, some of the content isn't even about me. So I'm not all personalizing it. So I'll put the remote viewing result in my members only part of the channel. You can always join for like $3 American, spend a month here and quit. But check out my members only section. There's a lot of cool content I put out just for you guys. It just started. I'm really excited about it. And all my content for members only is 15 minutes to half an hour. They're not the long form videos, but there are lots of cool stuff in there that I'm building up for you, including Chiron, the Key to Purpose, and Chiron for Life Timing Cycles. Those 2 courses are for free in my members only section. Each of those courses was taught in the past, and you can get the replays for free. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful week ahead.